Robert, how you doing? Okay. Stick control book formula, number 5. I got to be a little bit more careful when I'm writing this out. If you look at number 5, stick control book formula, line number 5, at the end of the first measure, hey Jim, this is going to be better. Jim, all right, there's a mistake. Line 5, downbeat number 4. There should be, on it where it says snare drum there's 2 notes, snare drum and bass drum. Eliminate the snare drum, because it should be the bass drum. Okay, I apologize. I was just in such a hurry to get these all done that sometimes I do make mistakes. So far, out of 180 pages, there was 2 mistakes. So I sincerely apologize. If you would like me to return your funds, I will. Or you want me to send you another page PDF, I will. Okay? Now, I'm going to wait for the chat to populate a little bit. What we have here today is, I want to kind of go over some polyrhythms first. And, you know, did you straighten out that 3-3-2 with your friend there, Jim? 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2, 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2. Good thing there. See, everybody learns so much from everybody. Okay, so polyrhythms. You have the option today. I thank you, Bob. Does the whiteout work? Did you try it on the last ones? I want to do your options, being that you gentlemen are the first ones here. We could do 3 against 4 or 3 against 2. Which do you prefer? Three against 2, 3 against 4. Now, there's other formations of writing this as opposed to the way I wrote it. Sorry about that, Jim. Got to get your new computer hooked up. Okay. 3 against 2, 3 against 4. Which is it? Okay, good. 3 against 4. Okay, Robert. 3 against 2 is kind of simple, you know. It's not simple, but because you know it, and the more you get involved with it, and the more you practice different combinations of different things, it's easier. So you want to go to the next step. Now, 3 against 4, that's a polyrhythm. I'm playing 3 with one limb and 4 with an additional limb. Now, the way I subdivide that, again, is the triplet. Now, I'm not counting the triplet as 1 and da. I'm counting the triplet as 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, I'm opening the triplet up a little bit. When I say open it up, means I'm expanding on the count. Instead of 1, 2, 3, I could either count 1 and 2 and 3. But what really works well is when I spread it out a little bit to count, I'm counting 1E and the 2E and the 3. 1E and the 2E and the 3. 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 1E and the 2E and the 3. So now I'm playing my bass drum on the count of 1 of the 3. So that's given me the 3 against 1. Like this, I'd have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But now I got to fit the 4 in there. How am I going to fit 4 in there? So like I said, I subdivide the count. So now, on 1E and so far, like 1E and on the count of 1, both hands hit together. 1E and Got it? 1E and 1E and again. 1E and one more time. 1E and All right, now on the count of 2, my bass drum still hits on the count of 2, the downbeat. 2, E, now, and 3, E, and So let me do that slower on the count of 2. The downbeat, 2, E, and That's right. 2, E, and 2, E, and on the end. 2, E, and. So I'm going to play the 1, 2, the first 1 E and the 2 E and 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 1 E and the. Here we go. 1 E and the 2 and 3 E and. Okay, so here's what you want to do to get get it down. I didn't write it out for you. It might be in the formulas. I'm not sure. I've been working on the syncopation book all morning. So here's what you want to do on a piece of paper. Put the count 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and. Do that and let me know when you got that going on. Okay? That's 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and. All right, now when you get that down, on the top of the count, what's going on? Above the 1, put a slash, a straight slash downward. So you're going to have 1, E, and then on the another slash, So for the count of 1, you have 1, E, and Hey, Horst, how you doing? Got it, guys? So the first count, 1, E, and Got it? Now on the count of 2, the left hand is by itself. 2, E, and now on the and is the right hand. Here's the right hand part. You should have it written out, 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and On the count of 1, put a slash, 1, E, and is the next hit. Then 2, E, and then 3, E, and Now on the count of the 1, the bass drum is going to hit. That's all. You don't even have to write that down. But on the count of 1 E and the 2 E and the 3, that's the triplet. Now, underneath it, put on the count of 1, 2, 3, you're going to have the left hand. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and. We get that so far, guys? Hoist, Jim, Robert. Let me know when you get it. If you have any questions, I don't want to go any further than that. Okay, gentlemen? So we're going to, you don't understand it. All right. Write down 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and on a piece of paper. Now, you could write on top of the count or below the count. So on top of the count, you're going to put a slash on the count. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to, on a count of 1, put a slash. That's the right hand, 1. So now you have E, and now on the da, da. So I'm going to play just the first downbeat. 1, E, and da. So you have written out 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and So first now you have the slash on the 1, E, and now the da. So it's 1 da. 1 E and da. Okay, now you go on 2. You have 2 E and da. Then 3 E and da. Now I'm not playing the 3, that's the 4. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and You got that, Robert? Jim? Hoist? Oh, you got it. Okay, how about you there, Jim? And Hoist, do you understand it? And whoever else is viewing the lesson, get in the chat and let me know if you understand it. So I established where the 4 is. The 3 is 1 E and 2 E and 3. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and Okay, so now you have 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and a little up tempo. 1 E and 2, 3. 1 E and 2 and 3 E and 1. That bass drum is on 1 all the time. Hey Ed, how you doing? We're working right now, I'm explaining 3 against 4. Okay, my approach and my concept. Well, it's not mine, it's part of it. It's all math. Now, before I go any further with that, I'd like for you guys to step up and tell me either you understand it or you don't. If you don't understand it, it's not a problem, man. This is not easy. This is pretty difficult. The bass drum is on 1 only. I'm just going to count 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and. That's part of the triplet. I opened up the triplet. So on the count of 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and. So it's just on the 1. Now, if I want to do the 3, I'm counting 1 E and 2 E and 3 and. So I have 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3. So the left hand is on all 3. All right, I'll explain that in a second. Chill out. In the 4, you're counting 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 and. The slash for the 4 would be 1 E. Every time I hit, it's a slash. 1 E and da. 2 E and da. 3 E and da. Again for hoist, it's 1. Every time I hit, it's a slash. So I'll put a slash on top of the 1. 1 E and now again da. Now we go to 2. It's 2 E and da. Then 3 E and da. You understand that, hoist? 1 E and 2 and 3 and. Now I'm counting 1 E and 2 E and 3 and. So the left hand is going to be constant on 1, 2, 3 throughout that count. 1 E and 2 E and 3. 1 E and 2 E and 3. 1 E and 2 E and 3. And the bass drum is just on the count of 1. I'll put it together. 1 E and the. See it? 1 E and the. 2 E and the. 3 E and the. At that tempo, it just sounds like a whole lot of counting and some pounding. Hoist, before I go on, do you understand? You got it? Okay, good. Now, to put it together, I'm just going to use 3 limbs. I'm going to add a 4th limb, guys. So we're going to play 3 against 1, against 2, against 4. All right, so now we have the 3. 1 E and the 2 E. Now put the bass drum in. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3. Right hand. 1. Let me lighten up on the top and you can hear the bass drum. You got it, Ed? Got it, Hoist? So that gives me 3 against 4 against 1 with 3 limbs. Now we're going to add the hi-hat. The hi-hat's going to play the 2. So now you want the hi-hat. You got it, Robert? All right, Bob. All right, on the count, the 8th note now is 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the. So the hi-hat's going to come down at the 1. So when I'm starting this whole 3 against 4 against 2 against 1, all 4 limbs come down together. 1 E and the 2. I'm not. It should be on 2 rather. 2 E and the 3 E and the. Let me play it faster. Want me to slow that down somewhat, or you understand it? I'm going to take you on a journey today, man. Trust me. You guys are doing real good. Making me work hard, which I love. I'm going to give you something challenging. Well, like I give everything challenging, I guess. What page was that I wanted to work with? Where are you, Paige? Did my son rip it out? It's a difficult page. All right, let's go backward here a little bit. I'll find it in a second. Okay, there you go. Page 29. Syncopation book. Once I show you this, then we're going to go into the workbook. Why am I keep getting buffering? It's buffering. Refresh my browser. Hold on. There you go. All right, it's buffering, so I had to reload it. And now we're going to like almost start all over again. We're going to work with the stick control book, right? The syncopation book. All right, that's page 29. 48 bar exercise. Let me know when you got it, guys. Jesus, why is it doing that? Hold on. Something is very wrong with this today. I don't know what. It's not on my end. It's not on your end. It's YouTube. You guys keep getting buffered? Okay. Syncopation book, page 29. Let me know when you got it. Come on, gentlemen. What's going on with this shit? Oh, Lord. Back to the same shit. Me too, Robert. So it's not on your end, nor is it on my end. It's on a YouTube server. It keeps buffering. Okay. We need the syncopation book, page 29. It's working now. Yeah, it is. For some reason, I don't know why. It's okay. How about you, dear hoist? Jim? Oh, this thing keeps freezing. Why? There you go. I'm back to the same thing again. All right. Now, do we all have the syncopation book? Page 29. It's not your computer, Jim. It's the YouTube. It's Google server. There's some interference somewhere, but that's okay. It'll work. It's working now. Okay? You have that, right, Hoist? All right, Jim, Bob, and Ed. The syncopation book. Let me know when you have it. Syncopation book. First measure. What the hell is T1 line? I don't know, Joe. All right, anyway, we're on page 29, less 48 bar exercise. Let's take the first measure. And I'm going to play it as written. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and no problem. Simple reading. However, now what I want to do is I want to play that measure against the triplet. So what we have here now is 3 against 1, 3 against 1, 3 against 2, and 3 against 1. All right, the first downbeat is 3 against 1. 1, 2, 3. Second downbeat, 1, 2, 3. Third downbeat, 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to play that line. Just a measure. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Again, I'm just going to keep playing it over and over again. Then what is it, Joe? Joseph? You know, what is it? It's not my computer. It's not your computer. Okay, the first measure. 1, 2, 3. Here's my 3 against 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to play that first measure with my right hand. That was 3 times I played it. If it's not Google or if it's not YouTube, Joe, what is it? Because it cannot be my computer. All right, we're going to go to line number 2. It's measure number 2. Do you all understand how I got the first measure? It's the first downbeat is 1, 2, 3. That's 3 against 1. The second beat, 1, 2, 3. 3 against 1. The third downbeat is 3 against 2. 1, 2, 3. And the fourth downbeat is 3 against 1 again. All right, so here we go. I'm going to do the second measure now. It's a variation of number 1, but it's making you in tune to come up to, look at the fifth measure. Bunga. All right, so second measure. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Got it? First downbeat, 1 against 3 in the second measure. 1, 2, 3. Second downbeat, 3 against 2. 1, 2, 3. Third downbeat, 3 against 1. 1, 2, 3. Fourth downbeat, 3 against 1 again. Sorry, I did the end. 1, 2, 3. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to play. Let me put this over here so I can see it better and play better. Let me see if that'll work. Maybe. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that'll work. You understand it, Robert? Joe, do you understand it? Ed, Jim, Hoist? I just played the first two measures. I'm going to play them over and over again. I'm going to do 3 here with the left hand rather. 1, 2, 3. The foot should be on the count of 1 constantly, because that's my downbeat. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to play the first 2 measures over and over again. I'm going to repeat them a couple times. Does that make any sense to you, gentlemen? That's the first 2 measures. I'm only using 3 limbs here. My bass drum, that's my right foot, my snare drum, and my right hand on the floor tom-tom. I just played, and I just demonstrated rather, the first 2 measures. Let's go to the third measure. The first downbeat would be 3 against 2. The second downbeat would be 3 against 1. The third downbeat, again, 3 against 1. And the fourth downbeat would be 3 against 2. All right, so now I'm going to play the third measure over and over again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1. All right, Jimmy, you understand it? Ed, Robert, Hoist, do you understand it? And Joe, do you understand it? It's not easy, this stuff. I like to make a whole issue out of playing that first line with some dynamics. So we just took care of the first, second, and third measures. Let's go to the fourth measure. You want me to play it slow? And let me explain it again. Now, the first measure, our first downbeat in the fourth measure is 3 against 2. The second downbeat in the fourth measure is 3 against 2. The third downbeat is 3 against 1. Now you come to the fourth downbeat. All right, it's a partial of the 2. It's 4 and instead of 4 and, or a quarter note. So that's a partial of the 3 against 2. So now I'm going to play the last measure. If you want me to slow it down, I will, but I'm going to play it at a moderate tempo. I'm going to do the last measure. Do we understand the fourth downbeat? I'll slow the fourth downbeat down. 1, 2, and 3. That's the fourth downbeat. 1, 2, 3. Now, if you understand that, that's fine. I'm going to play the whole line a couple times. All right, so we got line 1. We got it? Now, like I said, I like to make something out of this. Play a little light, a little dynamics. We all understand what dynamics are. Okay, that's various degrees of power. I can play loud or I can play soft. All right, so let's try it. I'm going to maintain this. That's going to be my premise. Now, I'm not going to play anything on that line. I'm going to play a variety of things. Some good soloing ideas, mathematically. Now, here's where the work, it doesn't get confusing. You have to be focused intensely to do this. Let me get a drink of water. Now we're going to do line number 2, the first measure. Now the first downbeat, that hurt. The first downbeat is 3 against 1. The second downbeat is 3 against 2. You guys see how I'm coming up with 3 against 1, 3 against 2? The third downbeat is 3 against 1, and the fourth downbeat is 3 against 4. Go over the fourth measure again. Okay, Robert, I will. You understand it, Jim? Everybody understand? You want me to go over number 4 again? All right. All right, let me explain it without the drumsticks, perhaps. That'll help. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 downbeats in that measure. The first downbeat is 3 against 2. The second downbeat is 3 against 2 again. The third downbeat is 3 against 1. Now, I think the confusion or the newness of the fourth downbeat, I refer to that as a partial. Why do I refer to it as a partial? I'm not going to say it's half of 3 against 2. No, it's a partial. So if I was playing on the fourth downbeat, 3 against 2, it'd be 1. Now it's telling me on the count, the downbeat, I'm resting with the right hand. So I have 1, 2, now, and 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Do we see that? Does that help it out a little bit, Robert? I mean, these things are real nice, man. You got to have a set of chops to get to 4 in there that fast. But does that help you out, Robert, Ed, Hoist? Okay. It's a partial. That's how I refer to it as. Some people refer to it, I don't know, as something else, but that's how I refer to it. Now, let's go to the second line. Oh, man, my eyes. Let's go to the second line, the first measure. Again, I'm going to not repeat, but explain. The first downbeat would be 3 against 1. The second downbeat would be 3 against 2. Cymbal. Be 3 against 2. The third downbeat is 3 against 1. And now we come to the fourth downbeat. Hold on, I got all these pop-ups. Oh, God. Like my life is easy, right? It is. We go to the fourth downbeat. Now we have 3 against 4. So here's the fourth downbeat. Now I'm going to put them together, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1. Here comes the 4. Any questions on that second line, first measure? Okay, let me play it again. Again. Let me tell you what's going on with my brain right now because I made those 2 mistakes. What happens is, and I'm going to play it for you in a second, and I want to show you about intensifying your focus. So I want to share what just happened with me. I go back to that same time I explained, and I think I explained this situation yesterday or the day before when I was in Metuchen, New Jersey, the drum house. I explained this to one of my students or one of my roommates. And I said, all right, we did it for a while, let's go get something to eat. And 2 hours later, I came back and he's still working on it. That's what I just thought about. And by me thinking about that, it distracted me from playing that measure correctly. So I do apologize. Yet I'm going to take something that's negative and make it positive. The negative was I should have not gone away from what I was doing, which I did. So that teaches me 1,000% focus. Agreed, guys? Oh, okay. Line number 2, first measure. Why is that going like that? Wait a minute. Oh. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's pretty hard. It's a little too fast. But do you understand it, gentlemen? I don't want to spend any more time. I'm going to hit tonight the second line. Okay? And we could create some solos. Using some dynamics. Now here's what I've been doing for the syncopation formula book. When you first open up the book, there's going to be maybe 20, 25 pages. And it's 6 lines per page and 2 measures per line. Now on the first measure of the line, you're going to have something written in 4/4. The measure over is going to take the same figure but write it in cut time. So we're going to have that going on. It's a good reference. It's almost like a Bible to make sure that you understand the interpretation of from 4/4 to cut time. So I've been working on that this morning. I'm almost done. And I'm going to start formula number 2 sometime today if I can, or tomorrow. Okay, do we all understand the 3 against 4? Or the 3 against 2, how we just worked it from the syncopation book? I don't want to spend a whole lot of time. I'm on here already now 35 minutes. I want to take a formula. I believe it was number 5 that we're going to work with. Yeah. I did make everybody aware of the mistake. So what I'm going to do after the lesson is open up the file, eliminate the mistake. So those who are going to get the PDFs, the mistake won't be there. And whoever gets the book after I run out of these books, the mistake won't be there. Okay, so now, formula. Triplets, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a God's gift to music. The triplets. So, the formula I come up with is I'm going to eliminate the downbeat of the triplet and just play the and the. So, when I see a right, I'm going to count 1 and the. When I see a left, it's going to be 1 and the. So if I did line 1, with that formula, it actually, one now becomes a 4-measure increment. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the, and you do it 3 more times to finish out the line. Do you understand where I'm coming from with that one? Yes, no, maybe, by chance, yalum bidibanga. Okay, now, we emulate that formula into the jazz time. You guys have the book open? We're on formula number 5. Yes, no, we have the formula book. Number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now again, some people have problems with the free stroke, down of free stroke. Well, if you still have that problem, play quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. And eventually that will get in there. Okay, so that's number 1. Play it again. 1, 2. Nice easy tempo. Number 1. Now number 2 is just the reversal of number 1. Instead of me starting with the bass drum, it starts with the snare drum. And it is different, and it's a little bit of a different feel. We get that? Number 1 and number 2. We're on number 3 now. You got it, Hoist? It does make a bit of a difference there, Hoist, when you can visualize it, correct? You too, Jim? Bob? Ed? Okay, number 3. 2 rights, 2 lefts. Two rights, 2 lefts. It's a good formula. You have 72 lines. Oh, have you guys been making up your own formulas? Like, I got a couple emails that say, how come you do all 72 lines? Huh, 72 lines. I would have had a book, maybe about 4,000 pages. Absolutely, guys. Okay, well, make up your own formulas. You know, it's like a machine here. You know, if you keep doing the same thing, it doesn't go over to, it doesn't apply musically because it's only mathematically right now. What you can do is make up your own formulas. I mean, I'll sit there and just play the rights with the bass drum for 2 minutes. All right, or I just play the lefts for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Now, the melody, I mean, there's nothing to actually play a melody to, play this to a melody because, you know, unless you're that creative, that would be good. But eventually we're going to start doing the melodic structures, utilizing, I'm going to write it all out. Okay? All right, it's a quarter two. Mercy, Lord B. My lessons are getting too long. You guys had enough today? You want more? It's up to you. Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit maybe tonight about drum soloing in addition to the formula book and the polyrhythms. Uh, to me, there's only two types of drum soloing. There's a structured drum solo, or there's an open drum solo. Do we understand what I mean by that? A structured drum solo and an open drum solo. You know, I watch some of these videos that are put into the art of drumming groups. They're soloing. It makes to me no sense. I don't know what they're doing. All to me, they're displaying, okay, their chops. What's that? You're not imposing on my time, Robert. I'm enjoying myself. Thank you for being respectful like that. That's very nice. A structured drum solo is when you're playing the melody or you're taking your verse or verses with the band. It's structured. You have 32 measures, 32 measures, 32 measures, and back everybody, or however you want. An open drum solo, for example, is like Buddy Rich used to do, or a lot of other drummers do. You know, he's being displayed as on a marquee, the world's greatest drummer, whatever it is. It's all commercial. And, you know, he'll play the tune with the band. Then they will give him an open drum solo. The open drum solo, he'll take a solo for 15, 20 minutes. It might have something to do with the melody that he just played, or it might not. But all he's doing is coming up, being creative with different rhythms and different patterns and embellishing upon them. And they have it all worked out for the band to come back in. He had that sax player, I forgot his name, but he'll be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, bang, and he brings him right back in. That is a open drum solo. Okay, I have rudimental solos to send as well, Jim. But anyway, I'm going to call it an afternoon. I hope this was a good lesson, and I hope that you think that the lessons are becoming better. They're actually longer. So far, we're hitting, what does it say there, 45 minutes? Whatever. I just can't wait to get this show going on with the level system. You're welcome, Robert. So, I will be back tonight, 7 p.m. at my site, mattpatellalivellessons.com. Now, for the gentlemen and ladies or whoever who have not purchased the Stick Control Formula hardcover or PDFs, hit me up. And for those who are who I'm waiting for payment for, please send it. I'd appreciate it. Okay, guys, any questions? Any questions? Babadoo bop bop. I haven't seen Mr. Otterson here in 2 weeks. Today makes 2 weeks I haven't seen him. I did contact him. He said his hours have changed, working hours. So he was a really good student. I'm sure that he's still a member. Okay. With all of that being said, there are no questions. We shall see everybody this evening at 7